Adventures with Risha and Taman +1, and I am back with another video. Today we are talking about everything that I was not expecting in my postpartum experience that I feel like a lot of other people who are going to be going through their postpartum experience need to know what may or may not happen, okay? We're gonna get straight into this video, but before we do that, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you are new here, welcome to the Adventure family. We hope you stick with us. Go ahead and tap that red button and make sure you ring our bell to stay notified every time the Adventure family puts up new content, okay? Now let me tell y'all, let me spill all the tea on everything that I was not expecting to happen during my postpartum experience, okay? Alrighty, let's get into it. So number one, the one thing that shocked the hell out of me, okay? The one thing that I just was not expecting to happen in my postpartum experience was postpartum shedding. I talked about this in a previous video, but my mother did not have postpartum shedding, so I immediately thought that was one thing that I didn't think about it. I didn't prepare for it. I didn't do anything for it. So I had to pull out my good old postpartum list and, binge watch Girlfriends and watch all the shows that make me feel good. I had to let my hair kind of do its thing. And not do too much styling or any of that stuff. Now you guys can see that I did some bantu knots. My locks are curly right now, but I just did a soft retwist because I was so afraid of putting tension. I think my shedding has finally come to a halt now at the 3-month mark, and I hope so, because girl, I ain't got no edges. So that's one thing that shocked me, I really, it hit me mentally really hard losing my hair. So I think that's one thing that needs to be talked about more amongst people who are having children. That postpartum shedding can happen. It could throw you off. We talk about stretch marks, we talk about loose skin, but we don't talk about losing your hair. And it's something that needs to be talked about, okay? Number two, the one thing that we can talk about, and that the internet has been talking about, because I guess Cardi B uploaded a picture of her boobs by accident or something, and she had really big areolas. That's what we're going to talk about right now. The fact that your areolas get so big, they can literally take up most of your breast, and I'm pretty sure that it's for the baby. I think I read that your areolas get larger and darker so that the baby can see where the breast is, it helps them latch on, So it's natural, but if you don't know, now you know that your areolas can, expand. They can get really big. I don't know if they'll go back to normal. I'm not really 100% sure. I know that mine haven't gone back to normal. I know that they're still pretty dark, pretty big. I know that my girlfriend, who is also pregnant, we were talking about it the other day. I was like, girl, does your areolas expand? She was like, yeah, girl. So that's something that happens, Your areolas expand. It is what it is. The third thing I want to go ahead and talk about is the hormonal changes. I think when we think of postpartum and we think of pregnancy being over, we tend to talk about the hormones because we talk about postpartum depression and stuff like that. But we don't necessarily talk about just how it's like a constant up and down. It's like you're kind of on this moody roller coaster, and it doesn't even it hasn't made me feel necessarily depressed. What it makes me feel is my feelings are in limbo because I'm just feeling so many things. Yeah. Because I'm just feeling so many things all at once. It's so hard to kind of figure out your emotions. So yeah, that's something that I wasn't expecting, is to be so emotionally tumultuous. But yeah, it's I've been on a roller coaster these past few months, especially when I'm on my cycle. And that brings us into the fourth thing, irregular periods. I guess it's assumed that you may have an irregular cycle. You may have an irregular cycle postpartum, but mine was super duper regular. My third cycle now postpartum lasted 8 days. I've never in my entire life had a period last 8 days. So that definitely threw me off, and it's hard to do the counting method since I'm not on birth control when your period is irregular. So I really don't know, I'm kind of in limbo with the whole cycle thing. So take that into account. You may have irregular periods. If you have a 3 or 4 day period like me, it may just not go back right away, or it may not go back at all. I'm not really sure if it's gonna go back to normal or what, but yeah, so it may be a little off. Something else to consider is breastfeeding. People sometimes feel like, and I think even I thought this, that breastfeeding was gonna take a lot less work and a lot less effort than it did. It's not something that you just inherently know how to do, or you and your baby knows how to inherently do. It is a learning thing. Your baby needs room to learn how to latch. You need room to learn how to get into the proper position, or you need to figure out what the optimal position is based on the size of your breast, based on the size of your baby's mouth, based on whether your baby has a tongue tie, a lip tie. There's so many things that could interfere with a positive breastfeeding experience, or rather an experience without challenges. But it is what it is. It happens, and I think that we all need to be a little bit kinder to ourselves, when learning how to do things with our little baby, because we don't know what the heck we're doing. You can read all you want, prepare all you want, but there are just some things that you just can't prepare for, and literally things just happen, okay? So Sunny was born with a lip tie, and she doesn't like it when the nipple is too deep in her mouth. So it took us a really long time to be able to latch her on so that she can get the most milk, and so that I could breastfeed comfortably. We're 3 months in, and I still have challenges here and there. I mean, I know someone who had challenges breastfeeding up until week 15. So it happens. Breastfeeding is something that you should prepare both mentally and physically for, but you never know what your baby can latch immediately and be, the best breastfeeder ever. You may have a second baby who, doesn't latch on as great as the first baby. It truly depends. And one of the last things that I wasn't really, I didn't even really think too much about, or I don't know, and it also had something to do with the whole postpartum shedding thing, was taking my vitamins, or rather getting an adequate postpartum vitamin regimen that worked for me and the challenges my body is going through. For instance, now that COVID is happening, I'm getting a lot less vitamin D because we're all outside a whole lot less. So I had to implement taking an extra vitamin D supplement. That's something that I didn't even think about. I didn't even think about what vitamins I would need, I'm also continuing to take my prenatal vitamins because my hair was falling off. And I didn't know that not stopping taking your prenatal vitamins could, attribute to the postpartum shedding. Your body is so out of balance. And then you stop taking your vitamins. Duh, you should continue to take your vitamins. But I don't know why I wasn't thinking that setting. But yeah, so continue to take your postpartum vitamins, and continue to take whatever vitamins you feel like you need. If you need some extra vitamin D, get some extra vitamin D. I know even my pediatrician said extra vitamin D is a good idea. Something else I wasn't expecting during my postpartum experience was the lower back pain. It almost kind of felt like my back labor before I went into full-on labor, before my induction started, and it has kind of lingered. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to get an epidural was because my mother has constant back pain since she got 3 epidurals, since she got 3 C-sections. Back pain. I wasn't expecting the back pain. I also don't like to take painkillers. I don't like to do stuff like that, so I wasn't expecting that. What helped me a whole lot with the back pain was a heating pad. I used my heating pad so much after labor. I literally just laid on it even while I was nursing. I just needed to relieve that back pain. It was serious. That's something else that I wasn't really preparing for, was the back pain accompanied with just your postpartum pain. And another thing that I wish I would have gotten more information on, or done more information on, was a good postpartum diet. Your body goes through so much when you're having a baby, so you want to give it everything that expelled from it during labor, especially because you're going to lose a lot of blood, so your iron will probably go down. So you need things like this, which these are the things that I now implement in my postpartum diet because they're so important. I didn't know, so I'm going to read the list off of my laptop, and then you guys can just go ahead and write it down. So the first thing is bone broth, kale, blueberries and oranges, fish, walnuts, almonds, and avocados, whole wheat bread, vitamin C and high fiber foods, omega-3s like salmon, walnut, avocados, and sweet potatoes. So I try to eat a lot of food that have good fats. Why? Because of mainly my milk supply. When I don't eat foods that have good fats, I tend to have waterier milk for Sunny. But when I eat foods like salmon, when I eat foods like avocado, I tend to have what looks like a thicker milk. So yeah, I think your diet has everything to do with, are you trying to sit up? I think your diet has everything to do with how your body is healing up postpartum, and your milk supply and the type of quality of milk you'll have. Another thing is, I didn't realize how important oatmeal was. I don't know who put me on, but somebody put me on and said oatmeal helps with your milk supply. I had no clue. So if you don't have any oatmeal, go ahead and get some, because it definitely does. When I eat oatmeal in the morning, I tend to have a better milk supply in the afternoon, because you get most of your milk in the daytime, in the morning, and then you get a smaller amount of milk like in the afternoon, and then usually I can get at least like 6 ounces out before bedtime, but it really depends. So yeah, look up, if you haven't already, look up some foods that will help with your milk supply and foods that will help replenish the body of everything it was missing, especially now that your baby, you just birthed your baby, so you're not 2 anymore, you're just 1. So you want to make sure your body is in good condition, and that all comes with vitamins and a good diet. Right, baby? Right, baby? Yeah. Okay, guys, so that's all I have for you in terms of surprises that I faced during my postpartum experience. But know that all of these things are normal. Large areolas are normal, okay? I don't know why Cardi B was getting any flack for that, because I'm sure a lot of the women who were judging the crap out of her also have large areolas after they have had their children, or were just born with them. Boobs come in all different shapes and sizes. Who are we to judge somebody's titties? You know what I'm saying? Postpartum experience, just like your labor, just like motherhood, is a learning game. Every day you learn something different. Every day you learn something that will benefit you on this journey. Just be patient with yourself. Be open to surprises. Know that surprises will happen, and you got this. Love you guys. Don't forget, life is an adventure, and we'll see you next time on Adventures of Rishan Taman. Peace. Be sure to show some love. Make sure you like and subscribe and ring that bell to stay notified. Alrighty, guys. See you on the next video.